Imagine this. You're stepping into your own private oasis, maybe a stunning villa, surrounded by lush tropical gardens. The Andaman Sea is sparkling right there in Phuket. Sounds like the absolute dream, doesn't it? But look, for non-Thai nationals, actually owning a piece of that paradise, well, it's not quite as simple as you might think. There are specific rules, and understanding them is really, really crucial. So that's exactly our mission for this deep dive. We want to help you navigate the often confusing legal side of buying property in Phuket. We're going to focus specifically on the most common path for foreign buyers. That's the leasehold option. We're here to cut through the jargon, give you clear insights quickly. Now, our guide for this exploration is a really invaluable article. It's called Phuket Land Lease, Fine Print for Foreign Buyers. And this isn't just some random piece. It comes directly from Ocean Worldwide. They're a top-tier luxury real estate agency, and importantly, they've been based right there in Phuket since 2004. So we're talking real on-the-ground experience here. The director, Sandra O'Neill, she's personally helped literally thousands of families and investors navigate this exact stuff over the years. And remember, Ocean Worldwide. They specialize in luxury homes in Phuket and Koh Samui, so they really get what matters to foreign buyers in this market.
Yeah, and that focus on fine print in the title, that's absolutely spot on. Like the article says, really getting to grips with these details before you commit is, frankly, the only way to avoid nasty surprises later on. So in this deep dive, we're going to break down the most important points from this material. We'll try to clarify the legal stuff that can feel, well, pretty dense sometimes. Essentially, we want to equip you with the knowledge you need to approach investing in Phuket property confidently and, strategically.
Okay, so freehold and leasehold.
Yeah.
Most people have heard these terms, right? But in Phuket, specifically for non-Thai nationals, that basic difference, it takes on a whole new level of importance, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's the critical distinction. It defines your actual rights. So freehold, that means permanent ownership. You own the land and the building on it. Complete control, forever.
Simple enough. Sounds ideal.
It does. But here's the catch for foreign nationals. Direct freehold ownership of land in Thailand is generally restricted. There are very few exceptions. Mostly, it's limited to condo units. And even then, there's a strict legal cap. Foreigners can't own more than 49% of the total floor space in any single condominium building.
Ah, okay. So that 49% rule is key for condos.
Exactly. It's designed to keep majority Thai ownership. Now, the source does mention a very new, very limited scheme for big investors. We're talking like a 40 million Thai baht minimum investment just for one ray of land that's about 1,600 square meters.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
So not for your average buyer.
Definitely not. And it comes with its own really strict conditions, too. So
Yeah.
for most people, direct land ownership isn't really on the table.
Right. So here's the thing then. If owning land directly is so tricky, but we see foreigners buying beautiful villas, houses with gardens in Phuket, how? What's the actual method they're using?
That's exactly where leasehold steps in. It's the main route. Essentially, you're leasing the property. You get the right to use it and possess it for a set period.
Like a very, very long rental.
Sort of, yeah, but with more control. The standard term in Thailand is 30 years. But to make it attractive long-term, most developers build in extension options. Usually it's 2 more 30-year periods.
So 30 plus 30 plus 30.
Exactly. That gives you an effective 90-year tenure. That's the key structure. It lets foreign buyers bypass those direct land ownership restrictions while still getting really long-term use and control of the property.
Okay, that makes sense, especially if you want a villa, not just a condo unit. So apart from just being possible, what are the actual upsides? Why choose leasehold in a place like Phuket?
Well, there are some pretty compelling practical advantages. First off, usually it means a reduced initial capital outlay.
Less money up front.
Right. Compared to freehold, the upfront investment is often significantly smaller. That makes those prime Phuket properties, especially villas, much more accessible financially. You don't tie up quite so much cash right at the start.
Okay, accessibility. What else?
Secondly, for property investors, it offers great flexibility. It can open the door to high-end properties or maybe locations that would just be completely out of reach if you had to buy freehold. It allows you to diversify your portfolio without sinking, a huge chunk of capital into one single asset.
Good point.
And thirdly, honestly, in Phuket. For many of the most desirable properties, particularly villas, properties with land leasehold is often the only practical way in for foreigners. Many premium developments are specifically structured this way to cater to the international market.
Got it. So maybe a good analogy is like Leasing a luxury car for, say, 90 years. You get to drive it, maybe customize it a bit, use it almost like it's yours. You have incredible long-term use and control, but you never actually own the underlying chassis, the land itself.
That's a pretty good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
It highlights the practical use you get. Now, within leasehold, there's a specific structure you often hear about, especially with villa projects. It's called collective leasehold.
Collective leasehold. Okay, what's that?
Well, this is where several foreign buyers get together. They form a Thai company, and that company owns the land. Then each buyer leases their individual property from that company. And crucially, they also hold shares in that company.
Ah, I see. So the idea is if all the leaseholders are shareholders, they collectively control the company that owns the land.
That's the theory, yes. It's designed to give them a unified say in managing the land and, hopefully, more security over their lease renewals down the line.
That sounds quite clever. Almost like a neat workaround. But usually, these clever workarounds,
Yeah.
they have catches, right? What are the complexities here, the potential issues?
You're right to be cautious. It sounds neat, but there are significant potential pitfalls. Firstly, Thai law is very clear. A landowning company needs at least as many Thai shareholders as foreign ones.
Okay.
And this is vital. These Thai shareholders must be genuine investors. Using nominees, people just holding shares for you but not actually investing, that's strictly illegal.
Right. Nominees are a big no-no.
Absolutely. If that company structure isn't genuinely maintained with real Thai partners, the company could legally lose its right to own the land. And that would be disastrous for all the foreign leaseholders.
Yeah, I can imagine. What else?
Another big one is that you, as a buyer joining this structure, could potentially inherit existing debts or legal problems tied to that company.
Oof. So you buy into the company's history, warts and all.
Pretty much. If the company already has liabilities, you could suddenly find yourself partly responsible. That's why incredible due diligence isn't just on the property. It's absolutely vital on the company itself, its finances, its legal standing. You need to check everything.
Okay, so putting it all together, the advantages of access, the clever structures like collective leasehold, but also these potential issues. What are the real minefields, the big downsides a buyer needs to watch out for?
Well, the most fundamental one, going back to basics, is time-limited control. It's a lease. It ends. Unlike freehold, your right to control and use that property eventually stops when the lease term expires, unless you successfully renew it. You never own the land itself. That's the bedrock legal difference.
Right. It's not forever.
Exactly. And then there's the whole issue of uncertainty around lease renewals. Now, that 30 plus 30 plus 30 structure, it is designed to give long-term security. But the renewals aren't always cast iron guarantees.
How so?
Well, the terms are in the contract, but things can change. A major concern is if the actual landowner changes during your lease. So the person or company you signed the original lease with sells the land. The new owner, they might not be legally bound to honor the renewal terms you agreed with the previous owner, even if you prepaid.
Wow. Okay, that sounds precarious.
It can be. It definitely leaves the investor feeling vulnerable. And this leads to what I think is maybe the single biggest misconception we need to bust right here.
Which is?
The idea that a long lease, 90 years with renewals, is as good as freehold.
Yes, you hear that sometime.
You do. And it's just plain wrong. Legally, it's not the same. The distinctions are fundamental, not just minor details. Assuming it's the same level of security as freehold, that's a mistake. It's a potentially very costly one.
Okay, so really understanding that legal difference is paramount.
Absolutely paramount.
So given these potential issues, the time limits, the shaky renewals, the company risks, how do you actually protect your investment? What are the crucial checks, the look under the bonnet things you absolutely have to do?
Right, you need to be rigorous, first and foremost. Thorough, meticulous review of the contract.
Yeah.
Every single word.
Don't just skim it.
Definitely not. Check the exact lease duration. Check the precise conditions for renewal. Are the renewal fees fixed now, or are they open to negotiation later? That's a huge difference. What happens if the developer goes bust or sells the land? Is the property itself clearly defined, including access roads, everything? The article actually gives a great example, a seemingly perfect beachfront plot in Natai up in Phuket, but buried in the lease. Really vague wording about access rights.
And that could be a nightmare later.
Exactly. A tiny detail, easily missed, but it becomes a massive red flag.
That Natai example really hits home. It's not just about the pretty pictures, is it? It's that fine print we started with.
Precisely. And tied directly to that is really understanding those renewal clauses. Crystal clear. Are they guaranteed? What exactly do you need to do to renew? Are there extra costs, like a premium payment, involved? It all needs to be spelled out unambiguously.
Makes sense.
And this next point, honestly, it's non-negotiable. Seek expert legal counsel.
Get a lawyer.
Yes, but not just any lawyer. You need a qualified Thai property lawyer who specializes in leasehold agreements. Trying to navigate this complex stuff on your own it's asking for trouble.
Right.
They'll review the contract, explain your rights, your obligations, check the land apartment registration is done properly, and crucially, spot those red flags you might miss. Think of it this way. The legal fees, that's not an expense. It's an investment in protecting your entire investment. Peace of mind.
A very wise investment, I'd say.
Definitely. Now, thinking about mitigating those renewal risks specifically, some experts, according to the source, suggest looking into securing prepaid renewal terms, possibly even securing that prepayment with a mortgage over the land plot itself.
Okay, how does that help?
It potentially offers a more direct, more legally secure structure for those long-term renewals, compared to just relying on the goodwill within a collective leasehold company. It gives the buyer more direct leverage. And finally, always scrutinize developer claims. Don't just take their word for projected rental yields. Get independent checks and dig into the developer's track record. Have they finished other projects? On time? To good quality? Any history of legal issues? Due diligence on the developer is key too.
Okay, that's a lot on the legal and due diligence side. Very important stuff. But what about, the practical side, making the most of the investment once you have it and thinking long term? An investment isn't just the buying part, right?
Absolutely right. It's about the whole life cycle. A strategic approach is vital. First, if rental income is part of your plan, you absolutely need to understand Phuket's rental seasons.
High season, low season.
Exactly. Peak season is roughly November to April. That's when tourism is highest, demand is strong, and you can usually get premium rental rates. Then the low season, May to October. It's wetter, fewer tourists, but maybe better for attracting longer-term renters at different rates. Your rental strategy has to factor this in.
Okay, tailoring the strategy to the season. Got it.
Second, especially with leasehold, long-term planning is critical. Think about future developments in the area. Are there plans for new roads? Maybe an airport expansion, big resorts. How might that affect your property's value up or down? And crucially, plan your own exit strategy. How easy will it realistically be to sell your remaining leasehold term later on? Who would buy it?
And the value would depend on how many years are left on the lease.
Heavily. The remaining lease length and how clear and enforceable those renewal terms are will massively impact the resale value.
Right. Something to think about from day one.
Definitely. Third, be ready to navigate ongoing Thai property law nuances. It doesn't stop at the purchase. Things like restrictions on short-term subletting Airbnb-style rentals can be legally gray in some contexts, or specific conditions tied to your lease renewal that you need to meet.
So ongoing legal awareness is needed.
Yes. Again, having good local legal advice on retainer isn't a bad idea, just to stay compliant. And finally, just a quick note on financing. The source mentions that decent mortgage rates are currently available in Thailand, usually between 4% and 6% for both freehold condos and leaseholds. Interestingly, it suggests leasehold might sometimes offer more flexible financing options, maybe even directly from the developer, which could be an advantage for some buyers.
Okay, interesting. So bringing this all together then, we've covered a lot of ground. What's the absolute core takeaway from this deep dive into Phuket property for foreign buyers?
I think the main point is really clear. Buying property in Phuket as a foreigner, it's definitely doable, but it's nuanced. You have to understand the specific legal landscape. Leasehold is a very common, very viable route, especially for villas and houses with land. It gives you long-term use, potentially up to 90 years. But, and this is the big but, it is fundamentally not the same as freehold ownership.
Not as good as freehold.
Exactly. Don't fall into that trap. The fine print, especially around lease renewals, how certain are they, and the complexities of structures like collective leaseholds, understanding and verifying those details is absolutely critical. The legal distinctions matter hugely for your long-term security, and honestly, professional legal advice from a qualified Thai property specialist, it's not optional. It's non-negotiable if you want to protect your investment.
So understanding these differences, freehold versus leasehold, the renewal clauses, the company structures, it's not just ticking a legal box, is it? It's actually a core part of your financial strategy. It shapes your long-term goals. So perhaps a final thought for you listening, how might your own plans for property ownership, wherever you're thinking of investing, be shaped by really digging into the nuances of the legal structures available to you? It's definitely something worth pondering as you consider your next move.